Listen, I need to tell you about the worst night of my life. The night that somehow became the best thing that ever happened to me. I know that sounds crazy, but just stick with me here. My name is Marcus Thompson. I'm 42 years old, and 8 months ago, I was living under a highway overpass in Chicago. Yeah, homeless. Me. A guy who used to have a decent job, a family, and a real roof over his head. It was a cold November evening. I'm talking the kind of cold that goes right through your bones, you know? I was sitting in my home, and I use that word loosely. It was basically a cardboard box that I'd reinforced with some plastic sheets and duct tape. Not much, but it kept the worst of the wind off me. I had a sleeping bag that was more holes than fabric at that point. My jacket had a broken zipper, and my shoes, man, my shoes had more personality than protection. The soles had holes worn straight through them. Every time it rained, my socks got soaked. But you know what? I still kept my little area clean. I still folded my blanket every morning. I still kept my few belongings organized in my backpack. My mom always said, "Just because life knocks you down doesn't mean you have to stay down." I was trying, Mom. I really was. The only thing I had that mattered was a photo. My wife Sarah and my daughter Emma. Emma was 7 in that picture, all missing front teeth and wild curly hair. She'd be 8 now. I hadn't seen her in 8 months. Want to know how I ended up there? It's not that complicated, actually. That's the scary part. I was a construction worker. Good at my job, too. Never missed a day. Then one afternoon, a scaffolding collapsed. Wasn't my fault, wasn't anybody's fault really. Just one of those things. But I fell 15 feet and messed up my back pretty bad. The medical bills started piling up. We didn't have insurance, couldn't afford it. I couldn't work because of my injury, which meant no money coming in. Sarah tried her best. She really did. But the stress, it broke us. She left and took Emma with her. I don't blame her. I couldn't even blame her then. 3 months later, I got evicted from our apartment. After that, it was like dominoes falling. No home, no job, no family. Just me and a cardboard box under a highway. Anyway, back to that November night. I was sitting there counting my money. I'd been panhandling all day, and I had exactly $3.47. I counted it 3 times because I couldn't believe that was all I had. My hands were shaking, but not from the cold. I hadn't eaten in 2 days. 2 full days. Your body does weird things when you're that hungry. Your stomach stops hurting and just feels empty and tight. I made a decision. I was going to use that money to buy food. There was a food truck about 6 blocks away. Miguel's Tacos. Miguel knew me. He was one of the few people who still looked me in the eye, you know? Who still treated me like a human being instead of a problem to step around. So I walked those 6 blocks. Let me tell you, when you're hungry and injured and it's freezing cold, 6 blocks feels like 6 miles. I limped the whole way because my back was killing me. People passed me on the street. Couples holding hands, families laughing, people talking on their phones about normal people problems. I tried not to look at them. When I got to Miguel's truck, he smiled at me. "Marcus! My friend! What can I get you?" I counted out my money on his counter. "What can $3.47 get me?" Miguel looked at the money, then at me. Then he wrapped up 2 tacos and poured a coffee. "Here. You look like you need it, amigo. It's cold tonight." I almost cried right there. "Miguel, I can only afford." "Take it," he said firmly. "Just take it." I did. I thanked him about 5 times and headed to my favorite spot, a bench in the park near the overpass. It was under a streetlight, so at least I could see what I was eating. I sat down and just looked at that food for a minute. 2 tacos and a hot coffee. It looked like a feast. My stomach was growling so loud I thought other people might hear it. I picked up the first taco and took a bite. Oh man. It was the best thing I'd ever tasted. I'm not exaggerating. When you haven't eaten in 2 days, Even a simple taco tastes like heaven. The warmth spread through my chest. The coffee warmed my hands. I was halfway through that first taco when I saw him. About 20 feet away, slumped against a tree, was a man. He was older than me, maybe late 50s. And here's the weird part, he was wearing a suit. A nice suit too. But it was dirty and wrinkled like he'd been sleeping in it. His face was pale. His lips had a blue tint to them. He was shivering so bad I could see it from where I sat. In his arms, he was clutching a briefcase like it was the most important thing in the world. The guy looked terrible. Worse than me, even. I looked down at my food. I still had 1.5 tacos left. My stomach was still empty. I needed this food. I really needed it. But that guy, he looked like he was dying. I sat there for maybe 2 minutes, having a war inside my own head. Every survival instinct I had was screaming at me to eat my food and mind my own business. I was homeless. I was hungry. Nobody was looking out for me, so why should I look out for someone else? But then I thought about Emma. I thought about the kind of man I used to be. The kind of man I wanted my daughter to remember. I stood up. My legs felt weak, but I walked over to that stranger anyway. Every step felt like I was walking away from my own survival. But I couldn't stop myself. When I reached him, I knelt down. "Hey, buddy. You okay?" His eyes opened slowly. They were gray. Really gray, like storm clouds. And there was something about them, something I couldn't quite figure out. "You look like you need this more than me," I said, and I held out my remaining taco and half my coffee. The stranger stared at me like I'd just spoken a foreign language. His mouth opened a little, but no words came out at first. He just looked at the taco in my hand, then at my face, then back at the taco. "You're giving me your food?" he finally said. His voice was raspy, but there was something educated about it. Like he was used to talking in boardrooms, not on cold streets. "Yeah," I said. "It's not much, but it's warm." He took the taco with shaking hands. I'm talking really shaking, like he could barely hold on to it. Then he did something that surprised me. He started crying. Not loud crying, just tears running down his face while he ate. We sat there together in silence. Me on the ground next to him, both of us eating. It was weird, you know? I'd just given away my food to a complete stranger, and somehow I didn't feel as hungry anymore. I felt, I don't know, human, I guess. After he finished eating, he seemed to get some energy back. The color came back to his face a little. He sat up straighter. "What's your name?" he asked. "Marcus. Marcus Thompson." He nodded slowly, like he was filing that information away somewhere important. "Thank you, Marcus. You have no idea what you just did for me. Just sharing a meal, man. No big deal. It's a bigger deal than you think." He looked at me carefully. "Tell me something. How did you end up here?" So I told him. I don't know why. I usually didn't share my story with strangers. But something about this guy made me want to talk. I told him about the construction accident, the medical bills, losing Sarah and Emma, the eviction. All of it. He listened without interrupting. Really listened, you know? Not like he was waiting for his turn to talk, but like he actually cared about what I was saying. When I finished, he asked me something strange. "Do you regret your choices?" "What choices?" I laughed bitterly. "I didn't choose to fall off a scaffolding. I didn't choose to lose everything. But you made choices after that happened. You could have become angry, bitter. You could have hurt people or blamed the world. But you didn't. Why?" I thought about that. I guess because I have a daughter. And even if she's not here, I want to be the kind of man she can be proud of someday. You know? He smiled then. It was a sad smile. "You already are, Marcus. You just don't know it yet." Before I could ask what he meant, he started to stand up. He was steadier now, like the food had really helped. He picked up his briefcase, expensive leather, I noticed. The kind that probably cost more than I used to make in a month. I need to go, he said. Wait, I said. What's your name? He paused. Richard. That's all he said. Just Richard. Then he opened his briefcase, and I caught a glimpse inside. Papers, documents, what looked like contracts or something. This guy definitely wasn't your average homeless person. Richard pulled out a business card and handed it to me. I looked at it. It was blank, completely blank except for a phone number written in pen at the bottom. What's this? I asked. When things seem impossible, call this number. But only when you truly need it, Marcus. Do you understand? I didn't understand at all. Who are you, man? Really? He smiled that mysterious smile again. Someone who needed to know that good people still exist. Thank you, Marcus. You've given me more than food tonight. You've given me hope. And then he walked away. Just like that. Disappeared into the fog that was rolling in. I stood there holding that card, completely confused. I looked down at the card again. Just a phone number. No name, no address, nothing else. Part of me thought maybe the guy was crazy. Or maybe I was crazy. The whole thing felt like a dream. But you know what? As I walked back to my cardboard shelter that night, I felt different. Lighter somehow. Yeah, my stomach was still empty. Yeah, I was still homeless and cold and alone. But I'd helped someone. I'd done something good. And that feeling was better than a full stomach. I tucked that card into my backpack, in the same pocket as Emma's photo. 2 weeks passed. And let me tell you, those 2 weeks were the worst of my entire life. First, the weather got brutal. We're talking temperatures dropping into the 20s at night. That kind of cold will kill you if you're not careful. I'd wake up in the morning and my sleeping bag would be stiff with frost. Then the city came through and cleared out our area. Said we were trespassing or creating a health hazard or whatever excuse they were using that week. They threw away my cardboard shelter, my plastic sheets, everything I built. The only thing I saved was my backpack because I was wearing it. I had to move to a different part of town. A worse part. The other homeless people there warned me right away. Watch yourself here, man. People don't play nice in this area. They weren't kidding. My back injury got worse from sleeping on hard concrete. Some mornings I could barely stand up. It felt like someone was stabbing me every time I tried to move. But I couldn't afford to see a doctor. Couldn't afford medicine. Could barely afford to eat. I was panhandling one afternoon when these 3 guys came up to me. They looked mean. The kind of mean that comes from years of living hard. Empty your pockets, the biggest one said. I should have just done it. I should have handed over the $8 I'd collected that day. But I saw them hassling this old woman first, another homeless person who was even worse off than me. And something in me just snapped. Leave her alone, I said. That was stupid. Really stupid. They beat me up pretty bad. I tried to protect my backpack. It had Emma's photo and that business card in it. One guy punched me in the face. Another kicked me in the ribs. I heard something crack. They took my money and left me lying there in the alley. The old woman helped me up after they left. You shouldn't have done that, son, she said. But thank you. I spent that night coughing and holding my ribs, wondering if I'd broken something. Wondering if this was how I was going to die, alone in an alley in the worst part of Chicago. That's when I found out about Emma's birthday. I was at a library. They let homeless people use the computers for an hour a day. I logged into Facebook, which I barely ever did anymore. And there it was. Sarah had posted a reminder about Emma's 8th birthday coming up in 3 days. 8 years old. My baby was turning 8, and I hadn't seen her in 8 months. I tried to message Sarah. She'd blocked me. I tried to call her old number. It was disconnected. I had no way to reach them. No way to tell Emma happy birthday. No way to let her know I was still thinking about her, still loving her, still trying to get my life together. That broke me. Completely broke me. I left the library and just walked. I didn't even know where I was going. I ended up sitting in that same park where I'd met Richard. On that same bench. And I just cried. I'm talking ugly crying. The kind where you can't breathe and your whole body shakes. A guy at his lowest point, that was me. I reached into my backpack and pulled out Emma's photo. Her smile. Her missing teeth. Her crazy hair. I could almost hear her laugh. "I'm so sorry, baby girl," I whispered to the photo. "Daddy messed everything up." That's when I felt the business card in the same pocket. I pulled it out and looked at it. That phone number, written in pen. Richard's words echoed in my head. "When things seem impossible, call this number." Well, things were definitely impossible now. But I hesitated. I'd been homeless for 8 months, and I'd never asked anyone for a handout. Never begged. Never looked for charity. I'd panhandled, sure, but I'd always offered something. Holding doors, carrying groceries, something. My pride was about the only thing I had left. Was I really going to call some random number a stranger gave me? What would that even accomplish? But then I thought about Emma. Her birthday was in 2 days. What kind of father was I if I didn't even try everything possible? The next morning, I found a payphone. Yeah, they still exist in some places. I stood in front of it for probably 10 minutes, just staring at it. My hands were shaking as I picked up the receiver. I had just enough change for one call. I dialed the number slowly, checking it 3 times to make sure I got it right. The phone rang once. Twice. I almost hung up. This was crazy. What was I even going to say? 3 rings. On the 4th ring, someone picked up. "Hello?" "Wait," I said, pulling out the crumpled paper with the address. "I'm supposed to be here. I have an appointment or something." The security guard looked at me like I told him I was meeting the president. "Sir, this is a private building. You need to." His radio crackled. He held up one finger at me and answered it. I watched his face change as he listened. His eyes got wide. He looked at me, then at his radio, then back at me. "Yes, sir. Right away, sir." He clipped the radio back to his belt, and his whole attitude changed. "Mr. Thompson? I apologize. Please come with me." "Mr. Thompson? When was the last time someone called me Mr. anything?" He led me through the lobby. This gorgeous space with marble floors and modern art on the walls. People in expensive suits walked past, talking on phones, carrying briefcases. They all looked important. They all belonged there. I didn't. The guard took me to a special elevator. Not the regular ones, a private one in the back. He used a key card to activate it. 47th floor, he said. "Have a good day, sir." The elevator doors closed, and I was alone. I caught my reflection in the shiny elevator walls. I looked terrible. My jacket was dirty. My jeans had holes in the knees. My face was bruised from the beating. I had a cut above my eyebrow that had scabbed over. What was I doing here? The elevator moved so smoothly I barely felt it. Numbers on the display climbed: 10, 20, 30, 40. At 47, the doors opened. I stepped out into the most beautiful office space I'd ever seen. Floor-to-ceiling windows showing the entire city. Expensive furniture. Real paintings on the walls, not prints, but actual paintings. The carpet was so thick my worn-out shoes sank into it. A woman at a desk stood up immediately. She was dressed like she stepped out of a magazine. "Mr. Thompson," she said with a warm smile. "He's been waiting for you. Right this way." She led me down a hallway to a set of double doors. Solid wood, probably oak. She knocked twice and opened them. "Mr. Thompson is here, sir." "Send him in," a voice said. Richard's voice. I walked through those doors and stopped dead. The office was huge. Windows on 2 entire walls, showing Lake Michigan on one side and the city skyline on the other. A massive desk sat in the middle, the kind of desk that probably cost more than a car. And behind that desk, in an expensive suit, looking healthy and powerful and completely different from the shivering man I'd met in the park. Richard. He stood up and smiled. Marcus. It's good to see you again. Please sit down. I couldn't move. I just stood there with my mouth open like an idiot. You're. There was a nameplate on his desk. I could see it from where I stood. Richard Wellington, CEO and founder. You're a CEO? I finally managed to say. Guilty as charged. He walked around the desk and gestured to a comfortable-looking chair. Please, Marcus. Sit. We have a lot to talk about. I sat down because my legs felt wobbly. Richard sat in the chair next to me, not behind his desk. Like we were equals or something. I don't understand, I said. You were in the park. You looked like you were dying. I gave you a taco and coffee. Yes. Richard leaned back in his chair. Let me explain. 3 weeks ago, I had a heart attack. A heart attack? I was walking from my car to a meeting. I'd been working 18-hour days, not taking my medication regularly, ignoring all the warning signs. And my heart just gave out. He shook his head. I collapsed in that park. My phone was dead. My medication was in my office. I was dying, Marcus. I really was dying. I remembered how pale he'd been, how he was shivering. But the suit, the briefcase. I'd just come from a meeting. I was still in my work clothes. He paused. Here's the thing. I laid there for almost 40 minutes before you came along. Do you know how many people walked past me? I shook my head. 37. I counted. 37 people saw a man in distress and kept walking. Some crossed the street to avoid me. Some pretended not to see me. One person took a picture with their phone and kept going. My stomach turned. That's awful. That's humanity. Richard's voice was sad. Or at least I thought it was. Until you showed up. You were homeless. Starving. You had one meal, and you gave it to a stranger. He leaned forward. That food stabilized me enough to get help. You saved my life, Marcus. I didn't know what to say to that. But more than that, Richard continued, you restored something I'd lost. You see, I wasn't always rich. 40 years ago, I was homeless too. Living on the streets, no hope, no future. Until someone helped me. A man gave me a job when nobody else would. Gave me a chance. That chance changed my entire life. So you, what? You were testing people? In a way, yes. I made myself a promise decades ago. If I ever became successful, I'd pay forward what was done for me. But I'd do it right. I'd find someone who truly deserved it. Someone who gave when they had nothing to give. He looked at me intently. Someone like you. My brain was working overtime trying to process this. That's why you gave me your card. That's why I've been having people watch over you these past few weeks. Making sure you were safe. Waiting for you to call. People were watching me? Security detail. When those men attacked you, my people were there. They made sure you got medical attention afterward. Anonymously, of course. I touched my ribs. They still hurt, but not as bad as they should have. That was you? I needed to know what kind of man you were, Marcus. Not just in one moment, but consistently. And you passed every test. You helped that old woman even when it cost you. You never gave up. You kept your dignity. He smiled. You're exactly the kind of person I've been looking for. Looking for? For what? Richard stood up and walked to the window. I'm starting a new division of my company. Wellington Community Development. We're going to renovate low-income housing. Create job training programs. Hire people from homeless populations. Actually make a difference instead of just writing checks to charity. That's amazing. But I need someone to run it. Someone who understands that world. Someone who's lived it. Someone with compassion and strength and integrity. He turned to face me. I need you, Marcus. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Me? I'm homeless. I'm injured. I haven't had a real job in almost a year. You're a survivor. You're kind. You have leadership experience from construction. And you understand the people we're trying to help because you've been one of them. Richard walked back to his desk and picked up a folder. I'm offering you a job. Director of Community Development. Starting salary is $120,000 a year. The number didn't even make sense to me. That's not real. It's very real. Plus full benefits, health insurance that will cover treatment for your back injury, a company car, and housing. Housing? I own an apartment building downtown. 3-bedroom unit on the 10th floor. It's yours. Fully furnished. I couldn't breathe. This wasn't happening. Things like this didn't happen to people like me. Why? I whispered. Why would you do this? Because kindness isn't a transaction, Marcus. It's a legacy. You showed me that good people still exist in this world. Now I want to help you show other people the same thing. I put my head in my hands. Years of struggle, of pain, of hopelessness, it all came crashing down on me. I started crying. I couldn't stop it. Richard put a hand on my shoulder. It's okay. Let it out. After a minute, I managed to speak. My daughter, Emma. Her birthday is tomorrow, and I haven't seen her in 8 months and… Marcus, Richard said gently. There's someone here who wants to see you. I looked up. What? He walked to a side door in his office and opened it. And Sarah walked out. And she was holding Emma's hand. Time stopped. Everything stopped. Emma saw me and froze. Her eyes got huge.